Hello and welcome to Group Nine's presentation video for Sprint 3. For most of the sprint, we worked on refactoring old code so that we split the UI and the logic apart so that they're no longer dependent on each other and they're in separate classes, not causing any problems. But for functionality, we have added an admin login and an admin GUI. So if I log in with our admin login, it will bring us to the admin GUI. Once it connects to the database, pulls the questions. So at the top here, we have our game info. This is changeable, these two windows, the end time of the game and the refresh time for the questions. This game ID is not changeable. This is a preset game ID. So let's go ahead and change some stuff here and I'll show you. You can see what this is now. This would also display in the game for the user whenever a normal player logs in, but we'll go ahead and change this now and show you that whenever we log in as a player, it will also change in the actual game. So let's change this to July 6th or 5th. How about that? At 3:35:45. All right. And I'll change the refresh time to 12:30 and then press submit. That will push to the database. And the second part of our admin GUI is the questions pane. So this lets every question in the database. The ones at the top here are actually used in our program, so we don't want to mess with them too much. But we do have some dummy questions down here. We have an add question test used previously to test the add question, and just a dummy question. So as you see next to every button in the list, there's a remove button. So if I go and click remove next to this and move the scroll panel to update the J scroll panel, the question is now gone with 998. So you can see the remove button for 998 was called, and now 998 is no longer in the database. Whenever the questions are repulled, it no longer shows up. I can also add a question here. So let's go and try and add one with the ID of 999, which you can see already exists. And we'll do add question test, and then do answer 3, test 3, test 6, test 9. So if I go ahead and try to add this, it should give us an error saying the ID already exists, and that's because 999, as you can see, is already in the database. But if I change this to 998 and press great question, it will add the question to the database. If I update again here, now we can see 998 is our add question test with answer 3 as the question answer. If I press this button again, since it was just created, it should give us the error again, of course, since we just created one with the ID of 998. So that's it for our admin UI. We're going to go ahead and check the second part of the functionality added this sprint along with the changes made here. So I'm going to go ahead and press submit again because I forget if I did in the first part. I believe I did. So let's go ahead and close this and let's rerun and log in. We'll log in as JML116, password 2. Oop, I think I might have mistyped that. Let's see. All right, we're good. So if we log into the program, first thing I want to look at is, of course, refresh time, end game, and the time for the end of the game are updated. So this is pushed to the database and works correctly. The second thing I want to add for our functionality here is we have now added adjacent button checking. So currently we're logged in as JML116, which should be this gold color here. So if I were to click a button that's next to one that we own, of course, it will bring up a question as normal. It is adjacent to one that we've owned. And you can see down here, it's showing you the output. It checks, you can see there's 4 adjacent buttons, and then it'll bring up the owner of each button adjacent to that button that was clicked. And then it'll also output the answer because we're not very smart. We're programmers, not whatever this is. So we answer the right question, it will give us the plot. But if I click a button that is not adjacent, and by adjacent it checks the one above it, below it, to the left of it, and to the right of it. So if I click here, this is not owned by gold, this is not owned by gold, it will not bring up the question. You can see here it's owned up and down by DEF12, left and right by ABC01. And of course this is not seen by the player usually, this is just for us to check whenever we're testing the program. Click here, owned by none here, owned by ABC01 here and DEF12 here. And then if I go ahead and click again, let's say right here, it sees that the bottom is adjacent and it has the owner JML116, which is the user we're logged in as, and it will bring up a question again, which if we answer correctly, it will give us that plot. So now if we answer here, it sees, of course, is adjacent, answer again, earthquake, and so every time it updates, you can see where we can click and sort of make our new path here. So we can go and build around here. And this is how we wanted you to expand your nation. We wanted you to start from one plot and sort of expand slowly, not just click around the map and kind of make it where you can target a specific color just no matter where they were. We wanted it to be like you start on one part of the map and you slowly expand across and not as easily targetable for other players. They can't all just start clicking on all of your plots and take you down all at once if there's a ton of players in the server, that type of thing. That's what we wanted, so that's why we added this adjacent button. Again, let me just demonstrate here. If I click here, there's no gold button adjacent to this button right here, so if I click, there will be no question brought up. And so that is most of what we've done for this sprint in terms of functionality. Again, the rest of it was mainly refactoring our code, splitting up the UI and the logic layers. And yeah, thank you for watching this demonstration and have a good day.